Alright, so welcome to my top 5 favorite decks. Yay, I know, easy content. But we're not going to do it the traditional way of least favorite to most favorite deck. Instead, we're going to have something different. We're going to have 5 different categories. So we have my favorite, most recently released deck, my most favorite cardistry deck, my most favorite magic deck, my most favorite art deck, and then my favorite all-around deck. So for reference, I'm not going to choose my own decks or any of my friends' decks because that's probably very biased and I think that's going to be very unfair, and also won't include any classic or standard looking back designs because I feel like that's a very easy cop-out answer. So we're gonna have a lot of diversity in this list. So yeah, let's see what we have in store. So the first deck that we have is the What the Fly Monarchs. So this deck is so first off, they're not called the Monarchs. They're actually called by their scientific name, so it's in Latin. So I kind of won't be able to read it. So they're gonna be somewhere. So it's gonna be somewhere on screen. But yes, I did fall in love with this deck recently. There's just something so nice about these simple butterfly wings like that, where if you open up a packet, you get this mirror image like so, right? So it's just something that there's something so nice about having it enlarged on the backs and the faces as well. And yes, it is just a giant PNG on the backs and faces, but there are a few subtle choices that I like how the where's the ace? How the ace, if I can find it, I should be more prepared. How the ace of spades is there's this nice negative effect, or negative space effect over here, or there's this distortion effect that shows the company's name or logo rather, or how for certain pips you can actually see that the butterfly wing goes in front of the indices instead, which is a very nice touch as well. So yeah, it's just overall a pretty nice I think it just looks really nice for cardistry in general. And yeah, I mean overall I just like how simple and bold it is. So next up we have my favorite cardistry deck. So this is the Holo Spiral playing cards, or holographic spiral playing cards by Fontaine. So I am a simp for shiny cards. You probably see how much I love my fold cards. But yeah, so I have one brain cell and all it wants is shiny things like a goblin. So yeah, because of the holographic foil, as you can see, this looks so nice. These are extremely shiny, and yeah, it just tickles my brain in the right spot. And yeah, so if you want to use these for cardistry, you have a very nice effect, especially in the light. And yeah, so basically I just really like these because they're shiny, and I have a bunch of these. And I mean, the faces aren't really custom besides the Ace of Spades, which has the Fontaine ace as per usual. And yeah, I mean, other than that, this is just a very nice and shiny deck that will be good for cardistry in general. So yeah. For Magic, we're gonna have our Black Cherry Casinos. So I'm gonna be honest, I don't really use these to perform all that much, but I do really like these because of this nice combination of the black over here, as well as the metallic ink over on the cherries. So you can have this nice contrast between the two colors, and it's also the same for the quartz as well, where you have just a slight bit of metallic ink as well, I believe, if I can hit the right angle, which I don't think I can. But yes, they do have metallic ink on the faces as well, I believe. So yeah, these also have a nice 2 gaff cards that I generally don't really use. So they have a double backer and a blank card, but I do sometimes use blank cards for social media posts and whatnot. So yeah, and also I don't really use marked decks. So having a simple deck that looks elegant, yeah, I mean, elegant, simple, and just looks overall very nice is good for Magic. So that's why, yeah, these are my favorite Magic deck. Well, favorite, quote unquote, discounting some other decks, but yeah. Next up, we have the Silent playing cards for my favorite art deck. So this is a deck designed by Korean artist Lee K, and it is just overall, I mean, I've shown this deck before, but it's just this very nice, beautiful deck where you have this nice and how do you, I guess you could call it like a rough art style with a lot of different textures. So over on the box you can see like there's like charcoal brushes, and then there's pencils, and maybe there's some smearing techniques here and there. But for the tuck case, it's monochromatic, and you also have this nice gold foil on the tuck case, and the word Silent playing cards are embossed. So overall, a very nice tuck case. Nice. That's not English. The cards themselves are all custom, so these are all different back designs, different focus on the eyes, right? And you also have different different like pips for each and every single card, like so. Different customized core cards. So overall, this is a very, very nice art deck. The only downside that I have for this deck is that these feel kind of bad. Like when I first opened them, I was like, oh man, these look so nice. And I fanned these, I was like, yeah, no thank you. But you know, obviously I broke this deck in, so they don't fan as well as they do before, but they still didn't fan as well as compared to like other companies beforehand. So generally, I'm not the biggest fan of using them. I do use them from time to time, but if I have to like actually use them, I would prefer not to. So from an aesthetic standpoint, these are so good, but if I have to use these, yeah, I can opt out for another deck. And then my favorite all-arounder deck is this one. This is the RJ/RTCB playing cards. And yes, these are actually a deck produced by USBCC for the RJ Reynolds Tobacco Company, except there's really nothing associated with the tobacco company for these cards. There's literally nothing except for this text over here, right? Except for this tiny little sliver of text that says B 2007 RJRTC. That's literally the only association that they have with the tobacco company. But other than that, these have no association with them. So I'm so confused as to why this is actually even a thing. But yeah. But anyways, this is my favorite all-arounder deck, and I think it's pretty much my favorite deck of all time. Even with all the conditions applied on this video, right? So yeah, this is a pretty standard deck, but the backs look so nice. So most people actually call these the Watermelon B playing cards, but they're most known as the RJRTC B playing cards. And yeah, the stock is nice and thick, it's heavy, and yeah, these decks just last forever, right? So yeah, I mean, the faces are also good for Magic because they're all standard. And yeah, I mean, if you also want to use these for Cardistry, you have this nice blue and yellow contrast. There's a red version too, which is why they're called like the Watermelons, but I love the blue ones so much. And yeah, so these are good for Cardistry, they're good for Magic. So yeah, there's just so much to love about these cards. And yeah, fun fact, I also asked the RJRTC company if I actually could get the rights to the back design, and they never answered my email. They never answered my email. I think that was like, oh man, I think that was so long ago. I think that was maybe like 6 years ago. It has been a very long time, and I don't think they're getting back to me. But yes, I love these back designs to death, and also love the stock to death. So yeah, these are my favorite all-arounder decks, and yeah. And that's my top 5. Those are my top 5 playing cards. Well, top 5 because I think if you had my actual top 5 list without all these categories to sort of constrain everything, my actual top 5 list will look drastically different. But yeah, this is all in good fun. So yeah, this is what I think would be my top 5 list if I have like the categories of like best Magic deck, best Cardistry deck for me personally, and all of those other constraints, right? So yeah, I mean, outside of that, my list will look drastically different. But yeah, let me know what you would put as your top 5 deck as like part of these categories. And yeah, stay safe, stay healthy. That's going to be it for me. And yeah, see you guys on the next video or whatever.